Hey guys, Rich Lopez with the Drop Time Traditions podcast. With me today is my guest and also supporter, Jesse Savage. Jesse, I hear you're in the background there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
just getting a chair.
well, hey, look at that. Even got your name on the chair.
Oh yeah. What's this?
So before we dive in, Jesse, I just want to acknowledge our show supporters, which is Stickbow Country Custom Arrows and Traps Feather Rests, Traditional Bowhunter Magazine, Sauk Trail Archery, StickbowSupply.com, Whiskey City Trad Gear, and of course you, JesseSavageBlacksmith.com, TraditionalJunk.com, St. Joe River Bow Company, TheEthicalPredator.com, and lastly, StickbowHuntsMX.com. So Jesse, last time we spoke, it was June 23rd, 2024.
Yep.
And I noticed that your mustache is now morphed into a massive goatee.
Yeah, kind of. It's that time of year, I think.
Yeah, I know. It's like I grow a beard every hunting season. So, hey, have you been out
Yeah.
hunt? You been out hunting at all?
No, no, but I almost got a deer the other night because I pulled into my driveway and somebody had just hit a spike horn and had a broken leg, and we called the local police, and them and the game warden came and shot it.
Mhm.
So I was dragging it into my yard, and some kid got out that was 20 and jumping up and down and excited and wanted to take the deer. So I said, just take it. I was like, I don't have time to cut it up anyway. So,
All right, all right.
but
Good deed. You did a good deed, and
yeah,
the deer was not wasted. That's a good thing.
no, it was a really nice deer. It just yeah, spike horn, but really round and fat. And um,
Perfect eating.
I've got a couple apple trees in the yard, so there's tons of deer around.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing to have.
Yeah,
We have lots of armadillos here.
thanks.
I've got some deer. I see them. Now I'm seeing them because it's cooler out.
Right.
But I don't hunt in my neighborhood. I don't feel right doing it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so for those that didn't listen to the first podcast over a year ago on Spotify, it now I have it. This is on Spotify as well as YouTube. And by the way, subscribe and like, please. Just give us a brief where you were born, raised, etc.
Born and raised in Rutland, Vermont, and kind of more or less always lived here. Moved around a little bit, but my family, I think on my mom's side's been in Rutland for about 8 generations, like
Hmm.
back French and Indian War, Revolutionary War, Civil War.
Yeah, you're quite the historian too.
Yeah, I've done a lot. I've done a lot of that family history stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, what came first, archery or metal?
definitely archery. Um, my dad, I think we talked about it in the first episode, but just to recap, that my dad had like an old, I think it was a Ben Pearson, like 30, 35 pound bow that he kind of had as a kid. Him and his brother used to shoot quite a bit.
Mhm.
And he would string that up, and I would, kind of snap shoot with it because it was, heavy for me as a kid. Um, but, I had a ton of fun with it. And when I first got married, we lived up in the woods. Her dad owned a couple houses, and we lived in one of the houses up there, and I picked up an old black bear bow, like
Mhm.
70s, um, 45 pounds. And I used to deer hunt up there with that a little bit.
Yeah. Now, you have not
Yeah.
been out this year, so yeah. What is it snowed yet?
Oh yeah, we've had snow a couple times, and then it goes away.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's right now it's rifle season here, but I mean you can still hunt with a bow if you want. They changed the seasons around since I like when I used to hunt, it was always archery first, and then they had like Thanksgiving, middle of November was always rifle, and then black powder, which I used to always do, was like December. Um,
Yeah, because
but
I'm going back upstate New York December 7th for that
right,
week, and that's the black powder season.
right,
And but we'll see how that goes.
right. I think they even go later than we do. Um, but yeah, I'd like know a bunch of guys that go over there to hunt.
Yeah, like last week
So,
was opening week of gun season, and it's still going
yeah.
on. A lot of deer are falling this year, especially with the bow. you've probably seen it all over social media. There's some guys just taking down some monster bucks. You know, a
Seems like
lot.
there's really, really big deer this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One guy, case in point, I think he shot a buck. It was 300 pounds live weight. I was like, that's just I can't imagine it. You know what I'm saying? It's 300 pounds.
Right.
I'm looking at the desk here in front of me. That's about a 300-pound deer. You know?
Right. Yeah, when I was a kid, like I remember guys going to Quebec to hunt in the cornfields, and they would bring home like 300-pound deer and just like big monsters.
Yeah, they got to. I guess they got to be that big to survive the elements, the winters.
Ye- Yeah, it's pretty rugged, especially I mean Vermont. There's a little protection from the mountains, but like Quebec is like, yeah, just north of Vermont, but it's really flat.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
I hunted Maine for many years, and those big woods are. I mean, to see a deer back in the '70s was like an event, so to speak.
right,
Now they're
yeah.
everywhere, so that's a good thing. So, how did you get into becoming a blacksmith? What
Um,
did you do
uh,
before blacksmithing?
a bunch of the different things we sold, like I had a used book shop. We
Mhm.
sold books. We've done a lot of different things, but no, I ended up buying like an antique anvil, and I brought it down to a guy I met, Kevin Mulholland in Wallingford, who was a blacksmith, is a blacksmith, Vermont Forgings. Um, and he started me out. It was really really magical because he cut up a bunch of like 20 feet of like 3/8 round steel bar, and then sat me down in front of the coal fire so you get an active fire, and then spin around, and he had a little 25-ton little giant power hammer, and showed me how to forge a little leaf and spin this around and spin that around, and he was making at the time like a lot of stuff for Plow and Hearth catalog. It was a catalog company, and
Mhm.
they sold like he made like paper towel racks and toilet paper holders, and he actually made his biggest product was like campfire like hot dog marshmallow pokers, and
Yeah.
they had a little fork and then a little basket twist on the end.
Mhm.
Um, so it was like I just went down there just to learn it and did kind of repetitive stuff. He did a lot of restoration work on like railings for like the stuff I helped him with, like cemetery stuff. I helped him with there's a famous like playhouse in southern Vermont, and
Okay.
I helped him with that. And I some random stuff, and like as I started building my shop and um forging at my own at my house, I'd kind of had like a little shed that I kind of added on to and made into my workshop, and it was a long journey. I think I've been doing it like 15, 16 years, and he was a huge help with it. And I remember always having to run to him, like I'd be forging something and say like, Kevin, I don't know where to go with this. Like I know like where I want to end up, but I don't know how to get there. And he finally looked at me one day and just said like, I can't keep like showing you how to get out of your own mistakes. Like you just gotta do it on your own. And
It's good advice,
and that
actually.
yeah, well it was, because I kept like, you fix it, and finally you just gotta put the time in, you gotta put the hours in.
Mhm.
Um, and be dedicated to it. And since then, I think 2014, I took a tool making hammer forging class with Patrick Quinn, who runs Center for Metal Arts, and my wife and I actually teach like an intro to blacksmithing there. We've taught for Center for Metal Arts, I think next year like 10 years. Um, so that's been a journey too. But I've taken a lot of like blacksmith classes, like around New England and
Mhm.
um, what have. And we have like a blacksmithing group called the Modern Forge, where a couple of my friends from New York City, actually they're all really kind of New York City, um, we do demonstrations and stuff at local events and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Hey, could you do me a favor? You know your
Yep.
earpiece? Can you just
Yep.
lower the microphone about a half an inch?
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, because I kept hearing this popping noise. I'm like, what is that?
It could be the wood stove.
Oh, okay. I can't. All right. So you got that.
Yeah,
It's fired up.
yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
that's what.
now, now that
Yeah,
explains the popping noise I kept hearing.
yeah,
Okay. So, folks, that noise, now you know what it is. All right. That's good. That's very, it's
yeah.
warm. It's warming.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even like when they warm up, the metal always like pins. You can hear it like just
Yeah. That's
um
exactly what I'm hearing. I'm like,
right.
what's going on? Okay.
Yeah, it never
That's,
really stops, but my
that's okay.
inside stove does it too. But
Okay. Well, that's good. I haven't seen a wood burning stove in years, man. That's so cool. I love it.
yeah, that's a cool one. I bought it. It was on the side of the road in northern Vermont, and I was driving by this guy's house, and he had it out for sale. Old
Hmm.
farmer, and I was like, "What do you want for the wood stove?" And he said $50. I was like, "Done." And I
Yeah.
was like, Can you put it in the back of my truck?" And he goes, "I can, but it's gonna take a little bit." I go, "Why?" Because he goes, "It takes a while for my tractor to warm up and get the hydraulics going." And I was like, "Well, how long is long?" And he goes, "Usually 2 or 3 beers." And so sat and had a beer with him, and he
That's
put it
cool.
in the back. But yeah, it's a nice stove. It's takes like a 16-inch log.
Okay. Now
So
you also collect vintage anvils. Is
I
that
do.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. You sent me a picture, which you guys will see when I promote this episode in 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm recording like a fiend because I'm gearing up to do a lot of hunting over the next few weeks. I won't be around, so these things will automatically drop weekly. Um, what could one expect to pay for, let's say, a 200 pounder?
Well, they used to be roughly $1 a pound.
Okay.
But now they've gone up quite a bit. It really depends on what it is you're buying.
Hmm.
If you're buying like a 200-pound like Vulcan, like kind of cast iron anvil that were I think they made about up until like the 1960s. Um, yeah, that's a cheaper anvil. I mean, you could probably get it for like 350, 400.
Okay.
Um, some of the old like the Hay Buddens and Peter Wrights and Trentons. And I have like one big Sodifers made in Sweden in like 1923, which is one of the newer anvils in the shop. But they, I don't know, my big Hay Budden's 400 pounds, and that's probably could be a $4,000 anvil. I didn't pay that for it, but um, the market's really gone up on this stuff.
Now, how do you move something like that?
But once they're above three, they're kind of a pain. You kind of got to walk them,
Hmm.
you know. Um,
And you just
that's the way.
leave them on the ground?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't really have to move them. If I can move the camera, maybe I can show them.
Yeah.
But there's
Oh man.
this is. You could tell me if I can't
No,
really
no,
see
I
the
can see him. I
screen.
can see
Is
him.
that?
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's the big one. That's the other Peter Wright.
Okay, so we need like three, four guys to help you pick it up and put it on there.
Yeah, a couple guys. It's not that big of a deal to move it. Um, I do a lot of like restoration work for this one antique guy, which is where I've gotten a lot of my recurves from. And
Mhm.
he'll bring me old anvils to clean up. And usually they got chipped edges, and I like kind of grind the face and sand it down and make it like
Okay.
dressed again. And then I'll heat it up a little bit, and just kind of weld um, some of the chips and stuff that have been dinged off. Like I don't like to be. You don't want to be going to them too much, but
Hmm.
just make them usable again.
Now, do you have to treat the metal with any kind of like oil or anything like that?
I actually spray everything down with mineral oil in the shop. Just like a um, so it's somewhat environmental. Like if you spray them with WD-40, that stuff evaporates off too fast. And
Yeah.
if you put like the linseed oil on them, it's too heavy. So what I found works the best. It's the cheapest to use. Is just like industrial mineral oil. So
Yeah. So, have you? Well, we're going to revisit this. Have you ever attempted to get on Forged and Fire?
yeah, they asked me a bunch of times, but I'm not really a knife guy.
Okay.
Um, Not that they don't really. They'd rather have me come on and just I don't think they really care, but um,
Well,
it's
it's
kind of it's a small group of people that have done it. It's not like it's,
Mhm.
um, I know quite a few people that have done the show.
Yeah, I see that they don't really focus on the science of it per
No, it's
se.
more, yeah, I think they're more into the drama of it.
Yeah, well, that's
Um,
TV. Everybody likes
right,
drama.
right. So, but it's a neat show. I mean, there's some negatives with it, but it's been a really positive thing for blacksmithing, and a lot of people have gotten into it. I've definitely taught a lot of classes because of it.
Now, is your wife still teaching as well?
She is, yeah. We teach together. So,
And now, in
yeah,
the day in day out in the forge, there is she in there helping you, working on stuff?
she she was years ago. We had we kind of did some big shows, and she kept signing me up for stuff, and I was like, you can't just sign me up for stuff. You're like, you've got to get out and help. So,
Well, I
um,
get voluntold all the time,
yeah, yeah,
especially at work.
it right. No, it's she does not as much as she used to, but I mean with teaching, she's really good. I mean, she was a teacher for years anyway, so she knows how to like explain the process and teach the material,
Mhm.
and make it like simplify it, make it really attainable for people.
Yeah, it can get a little thick information wise, I would imagine.
Right. Yeah.
So you did a show. It was a Smithsonian Channel documentary. Tell us about that.
hmm Yeah, that was really cool. That I got asked by a casting person for the Smithsonian about yeah, like in New England there was like the New England vampire panic in like 16, 1700s, and it was all around the tuberculosis stuff.
Hmm. And
Um,
I learned a lot about that from that book you sent me.
right?
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
it was really a worldwide thing, and actually, I think in 2019 in Romania, was they dug up. I think that was the last account of it being done in the world. Is there, you dig up grandpa who died from tuberculosis because your kids are getting sick or whatever, and if he's got blood in the corner of his mouth or like he's contorted in any way, um, then they would believe it was a vampire. And they did a bunch of different things. Like they would like break your legs or take your legs off and put like cross them across your chest, or take your feet off so you couldn't like walk out of the grave. But one of the things they would do is cut out the heart and then bring it to the blacksmith to burn it and then mix it in the ashes, and make all the kids drink
Yeah,
poor old grandpa's heart.
that was kind of startling. I'm on a plane headed to Mexico. I'm reading this book about this stuff, and I'm starting to catch on that this is all revolving around a disease
Yeah,
and how people had ideologies, just I guess ingrained in them over time, and
right.
a lot of confusion. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's the fact that it's still kind of done in Eastern Europe is amazing. Um,
Eastern Europe doesn't
Even
surprise me. Let me tell you, it's a lot of weird stuff over there. I've got a buddy of mine
right.
that he works for the World Bank, and
hmm
he's in Europe, and he deals with Romania, a lot of the stands, if you will,
Right.
um, teaching them how to um, raise crops, and the World Bank supports them financially,
hmm
and how to make their stuff more viable and profitable. And but it tells me about a lot of stuff that goes on in Eastern Europe still today, especially in the very rural areas. That a lot of ritualistic
Right.
goings ons, if you will.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
So
so
the
go ahead.
no, so over the last year, well, actually, you and I met on social media through bows, archery, bow collecting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've collected bows, on and off for years, and I think I've given away like 10 this year to like friends and stuff that would come by and shoot here
Hmm.
for the first time. And if I had an old Ben Pearson, or I actually gave one of my friends a bear grizzly. Um, but just they enjoy it. They've never done it, and I'm like, guess what? You're taking that bow home with you, and like
Hmm.
people are really excited. And if you could pick them up cheap, um, it's a cool gift.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
Well, in the picture you sent me yesterday or the day before, in the back of your truck, you had some anvils, and you were holding what looked like a Staghorn XP60.
yeah, I actually got it right here. You'll have to see it. If you can
Yeah, that's
see
a
it,
nice.
yeah.
That's in really nice shape.
Isn't it?
So
It's
what?
a little funny because this, like, the shelf isn't totally level.
No,
It's
it's
like
not. It's
it's
like
up.
angled, right?
Yeah, I don't know if there was a reason for that.
I think less arrow contact,
Yeah, that could be. That makes sense.
which they could have just crowned it, and it would have just solved
Right,
that problem. Now,
right.
what's the specs on that thing? How many pounds? Should say
I
in the
forget.
stamping there.
Uh, XP50.
Oh, XP
No,
50.
no,
Oh
no, no,
no,
no. That's the
XP 60,
six. That's the ammo. 47.
47. Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great weight. I don't know if I weighed it with my scale, but um, the cool bow that I just got that you told me what it was, I'd never heard of it.
Oh,
The
Sanders.
Sanders.
Yep.
Yeah, that is super cool. They were made in New York State, right?
Yep. Lake Champlain.
Um, yeah, I mean that's Champlain's like in my backyard, so you would think I could find a lot of those.
Yeah.
But that bow is
Can
really
you
nice. It
can you move the
shoots great.
tip? Can you move the tip back a little bit? It's in the middle of the screen.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So, how often do you find bows? Is it weekly, monthly, or
I
just
have the antique guy that I do restoration work for. He had like first dibs on like a huge collection out in New Hampshire.
okay?
Um, and was buying them. I think he was paying like $60 a pop, like regardless of what it was.
Right.
And he weeded through all the bears. They're pretty much gone. Um, I picked up a couple. Actually, I did get 5 Kodiak Magnums from him. But I wouldn't pay for anything. I was just trading them, like kind of like
Hey, that's great.
time time and service for it. And he'd give me like a $200 bow for basically like $100 worth of work. So I felt like it was better to take the bow than cash.
Sure.
You know,
Depending on what that bow is, like
right?
that bill pile staghorn bow, that's a
Yep.
$350 bow all day.
Is it? What about here? I'll pull out another bow. What about this one? Damon Hoyt.
Oh, that's actually an 80s or 90s Howitt.
Is it?
Yeah, Damon Howitt. Yeah, it looked like it had a leather grip on it at one time because the rest of the wood
Oh,
is,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I, I thought it was for a reason, like it was just a darker wood.
No, what
But no, that
happens,
makes
that's
sense.
the original wood that was
Okay.
protected from the UV rays by whatever was covering it, which is probably a leather grip stitched
Yep.
some point. But yeah, those are very common. You know,
Are they okay?
yeah, 175 to 225.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one that's 70 pounds that it's like I can
Yeah,
only snap shoot with it.
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
heck, and I bet you it's a bear to string too.
Yeah, I've got like this little it's not a bowstringer, but it's just two metal pegs
Right.
on a post that I
Yep.
wrapped with like some electrical tape, and that makes it a lot easier to string bows, and
Oh yeah.
you can keep them straight.
Yeah.
I always grew up swing like my dad showed me as a kid. You put it behind your leg and hook it
Yeah.
around your body, and everybody says that that's bad for
Yeah.
limb twisting and stuff.
That's notorious for lower limb twist because
Yeah,
your body's always moving, and to
right.
keep it straight, it's tough. So I tell everybody, spend the money, get yourself a Selway bowstringer. Best thing since sliced bread. They're not
Mm,
expensive. They're not expensive. Maybe $30. I don't know, but I've got them. I got them in every room. So
do you? That's good.
yeah. So growing up as a kid, I know Ben Pearson was very popular up in your region. They spent a lot of time promoting Ben Pearson up that way. So there's a lot of Ben Pearson bows up that way. Any heroes growing up in the archery world?
In the archery world, no, I think maybe just my dad, like shooting bows and stuff. I didn't really know the history of it until I bought that bear bow when I was like 20,
Mhm.
20-ish there, and I got married, and that's when I, had heard of Fred Bear and started researching who Fred Bear was, and um, then that takes you to Ben Pearson when you go down the YouTube thing, and
Howard Hill.
Howard Hill, of course, yeah. Um, I forget, trying to think of all. Uh, I don't know. There's a bunch of different archers that I checked out, but I'm
Have,
not like I think I only have one takedown bow. Like I was always into like just the like one piece
yeah, they're not
bows.
so
Yeah.
they're not they don't look so mechanized, if you will. The one
Right.
piece. Yeah.
Right.
I use a takedown only for necessity for travel.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it
yeah,
makes
when
sense.
and it's just so easy. Like when I go to hunting abroad, like Mexico, um, I went to Harbor Freight, and they sold rifle cases. Like nice
Oh yeah.
heavy duty
Yeah.
plastic, high end plastic. And so I could just stick a dozen arrows in there, my takedown bow, and just cover it up with some clothing, and down the road I go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I got into, last year I took too much stuff with me, and I actually bought a SKB hard case golf travel bag,
Hmm.
which it looks like a coffin. So I was like
Right.
wheeling that through the airport. People are looking at me like, "Oh, he must be a pro golfer." No, I'm not. There's weapons in here.
Yeah, that's funny. That works though.
Yeah, they when I got in Mexico, of course you got to go through customs and all the military and the police are there looking at you, and they see this thing. They they assume I'm a golfer, and they open it up, and lo and behold, there's broadheads, there's limbs, there's a handle. They're like,
That's
what are you doing? I said, tell them in Spanish that I'm hunting animals, and they thought that was
right.
insane. They thought I was crazy with using a primitive bow. They said, "Where's the wheels?"
Right.
So there is none.
Right.
So they thought that was admirable, and they started taking pictures with their cell phones. I guess that's a big deal to them. So,
Yeah.
so now traditional archery is a big deal in Durango, Mexico, because it's never been done before.
That's cool. That's
Yeah. So,
awesome.
um,
I've got two of those old when Bear first came out with his compound there, the white tail, is that what it was called?
yeah, whitetail and a
Um
whitetail too.
yeah, I bought two of those. One in a garage sale for like $10. But when you shoot, they shoot really nice just instinctively, but they got a little rattle in there that makes me nervous shooting them. So I just kind of leave them hung up.
Yeah, I mean they're rattling because that's old school technology
Yeah,
before bushings and things like that.
right.
Yeah, they just basically put a wheel inside of a bracket and let it rip.
Right.
So I would imagine they're a little noisy when you
They
shoot
are
them.
very noisy. Yeah.
So a
They're
lot of
fast though.
yeah,
Really fast.
for what they were back then. Yeah, I
Right.
mean today there's bows out there shooting upwards of 350 feet per second
Right.
or better,
Yeah.
depending on what you're shooting, what kind of arrows.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your bow hunting setup. If you're going to go out bow hunting, what bow would you take, and what type of arrows and what kind of broadheads?
I trying to think. I would like to take a bunch of different bows, but I don't have a quiver. My hunting setup is the bow my dad bought me, which is a Bear Grizzly 55 pounds.
Hmm.
Like late 90s,
Okay.
and it's got like the screw on like quiver, so
Okay.
that won't attach to any other bow. It's only good for that one. So
Well,
I need to get a quiver that I can just like tie on to anything.
I might be sending you something here shortly. I've got a quiver hanging up in the
Cool.
shop. It's an actual bear archery quiver. It's got the
Really?
spring arm that connects to the upper limb,
Oh yeah.
and then it has a
Yep.
bracket on the bottom that if you have got an insert or
Yep.
like you can put that there with the screw in tip thing. But
Okay, cool.
yeah. So I just gotta
Yeah, I
I
have
gotta
seen
I gotta
those.
clean it up, make some modifications. But um,
Yeah,
send
nice. That would be
yeah,
cool.
text me your address after the show.
Okay, we'll do.
So I'm
Yeah,
looking at
because
this. Go on.
because a lot of those old Bear bows have that screw in front. I'm looking at one now. Like this is one of the bows I picked up.
Oh
Kind of cool,
yeah.
but
Oh
that's
yeah.
that.
That's a Kodiak Hunter.
Yeah, kind of
71 or
cool.
72. Yep.
Y-
That's a good shooting bow, by the way.
Yeah, I forget what it is, 40, 45. I think it actually weighed in at like 46 at 28.
Yeah, and actually, the actual weight that bear when they back when I made those bows, they put them on there, scale them. The actual weight that that bow is would be underneath the strike plate. They write
Yeah,
it
I've
in.
noticed that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and but then they would just 45, 45, 45. They wouldn't put an X next to it or anything like that. They just ballparked it.
right. I do like that, like Ben Pearson did the X thing, so you kind of got an idea.
Right. If it was the X's were before the number, it was 45 minus two
Right,
pounds, or
right.
three. But that's pretty good that they got within 2 pounds. I mean, that's hitting weight in my opinion.
Yeah, it's amazing, really. I've noticed some of the bears, like the Sears bows that he had, they could, like those bows, they might say it's 50 pounds, but it could be anywhere from
Yeah.
40 to 60, it's
Right.
like,
Exactly.
I got to throw some wood on the wood stove. It's not too cold outside, but I like to keep it going and just dry stuff out.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a nice cozy shop you got there.
Yeah, it's nice in the winter. Like, my wife will come out and sit by the stove, and um, in the winter we spend a lot of time just hanging out here.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. So I'm looking at my manuscript from back in 2024, and I asked the question, who is Samuel Yellen?
Yeah, he's a famous American blacksmith. Um, I forget where he was born, like Germany, somewhere over there, maybe Poland. He came into like Philadelphia, kind of like I think turn of the century. Um, but he did like famous work in like a lot of government buildings in D.C., huge gates and railings. He did amazing like fireplace stuff.
Hmm.
He would forge like devil heads and dragon heads on stuff that was like amazing. He did all these like kind of abstract faces, and it would include them like in a church um, gate or altar. Um, he had a team in Philadelphia at one time of like over 200 people, and he just like a line of like the old shop photos were like just the line of coal forges, and you'd have your blacksmith and then your striker, and you'd have one kid swinging a hammer and another guy like bringing the stuff in and out of the fire, and everything was done by hand. He only had one, I think, 50-pound little giant power hammer. Um, but he did amazing work, and my dad like briefly lived in Philadelphia, and I had like his job list of like everything that he did in Philly, so I was able to go address to address and see what was left of his
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm looking at some of the photos on Wikipedia.
Right.
Amazing, amazing work.
Yeah.
He had an imagination, so there was a little abstractness to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah,
He
he was
died.
always
He was born in the 1800s. He died in 1940.
okay. Yeah, I forget exactly.
Yeah,
Uh,
in
sounds like it's
Philadelphia.
snowing out now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I
Now,
got a metal roof, so you can hear everything that
oh,
hits.
tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. Um, now you mentioned that the gun season was open. Do you gun hunt at all?
I always did in the past. I used to when we lived up in Mendon in the woods. I could go off the back of the house, but I would always go with my stepfather and his brothers,
Mhm.
and we'd go out and everybody would go to a different spot on the mountain, and every time like the church bells in the town rang like on the hour, we would all radio in and see who got what, and it was so funny. One time it was black powder season, and I hear a gunshot, so I wait. Then I radio over to my stepfather. I'm like, "Did you shoot at something?" And I got something going on. I think I'll leave it alone.
Yeah, the camera's
And he
working
goes,
fine.
"Okay, good. It's just I don't know, something's going on. I'm not gonna touch it." Um, he goes, yeah, I just shot at a deer. He goes, I think I got it, but couldn't see where it went.
Hmm.
And so I hiked over to him, and of course his brothers are on the radio on the other side of the mountain, and they're like commenting and making remarks and going back and forth, and we're looking and looking and looking for this deer, and all of a sudden I see like a 4-inch round tree that's just been blasted right through the middle, and it fell over. And all of a sudden I go, Kevin, I was like, I think you hit the tree, not the deer. And one of his brothers over the radio said, I think you got a tree pointer. And I was like, oh my god, he was so mad.
Well, funny about that, there was several years back, and it was cold in Maryland, and like a light crusting of snow, or just
Right.
frost, if you will, in the woods. And I had a 30-06 with me, a pump, Remington 760 Game Master, and I'm sitting there, on a tree seat with a blind around me, and this deer, this big doe, walks about 50 yards away from me and stops. And I bring the gun up and I look through the scope, but I don't see the tree that's in front of her vitals,
Right.
the sapling, if you will. And I just put the crosshairs, center of mass, and then cut loose. And then the deer mule kicks and takes off. I'm like,
Hmm.
cool. So I go over there and I'm looking. I don't see any blood or nothing. I'm getting,
Right.
mystified here. And so my buddy comes to collect me, and he sees me in in the woods looking around. He goes, "What happened?" I said, "I shot it. I know I hit this deer, and I can't find any blood." Well, I never recognized blood when it's super freezing outside, super cold.
Right.
It crystallizes and
Huh.
changes color. It's not like you would expect blood, like carnage. Well, my buddy looks at the tree and he sees a giant hole in it. And then maybe 20 yards beyond that hole, we start noticing this crystallized weirdness in the leaves, and it's blood.
Huh.
And another 10 yards, and there's the deer laying dead.
Yep.
And
Nice.
it was just very strange. I had never shot through a tree before, but it was just very soft pulp. And
Right.
so what happened is when it went through the tree, the bullet fragmented before it entered the deer. So
Oh.
the deer had multiple holes,
Wow. That's
yeah,
crazy.
and
Yeah.
but
Closer look
it
at
was in
that.
the vitals. So
Yep. That's good.
yeah.
Yeah. That my family. Like with the last name Savage, we have like there's a lot of old Savage rifles we have, which is cool. My dad bought me an old Savage 99.
Good. That's a good
It's
gun.
it
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 99A. It was like a 70s. They call it the saddle gun because it's a little bit shorter than their standard 99, but
Hmm.
it's a nice gun. I think it's for sentimental reasons. I always hunted with my like Savage 30-06. Um, but that's a good gun. My brother actually has like a late 1800s or early 1900s Savage 99 in the British 303, which like America invented the 30-06 to compete against that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but kind of
Yeah.
cool.
My brother-in-law had a Remington 35, and he couldn't throw the gun at a deer to kill it, and he kept missing everything.
Right,
And I was like, man, put a scope on that thing. So
right.
he eventually did, and then did well with it. So, have you ever made broadheads? We touched on that the first time, but that'd be
Yeah,
something that would be in your wheelhouse.
I've got a couple here that I could try to show. This is kind of the newer ones I did, but you could see it's like that's the old like medieval way
Yeah, but it'll
to
kill
make.
something.
Yeah, that's one version. I put like that gusset on it, thinking it would make it stronger, but I don't. I think it slows it down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that's another one.
What do they weigh? Grain weight.
Like 250-ish.
Okay. That's,
They're not. I actually thought they would be like 350 when I put them on the scale, and they weren't. Those,
now,
I mean, I've split pine boards with them. They're forged out of 4140 chisel steel, so I I feel like if they hit a rib or something, it's not gonna bother it at all. Um,
now,
and in Vermont,
how do they fly? Any
oh,
do they?
very true.
Okay.
Um, you do have to like I have like a drafting pencil sharpener,
Hmm.
and if I put the arrow in that, it gives me kind of like a long tapered um, end, and then because I forged the end of it, I forged like that cone shape.
Right.
Um,
The ferrule.
and yeah, yeah. But it's all hand forged, and then I have to Dremel it out because it's full of like the coal and stuff from the fire.
Right.
And make it smooth, and then occasionally you have to kind of like you got to center them by eye and keep spinning it
Hmm.
and keep moving it around, and then if it doesn't fly true, then I put a torch to it for a second, it pops off, and then I can do the process over again. But yeah, they're really cool to shoot. I feel like I'm really accurate with them. Um,
You need to get
and,
a
and
deer with one.
definitely need to get a deer with one. The only rule, like, because I was like, I don't know if I can hunt with one legally, but the only rule I found about broadheads was it has to be 7/8 wide. So I was like, well, that's easy.
Yeah, I don't think they care. You got a
Yeah,
lot of deer. DNR is really not going to police you on broadheads.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully that wouldn't be the thing they'd ask.
they got bigger fish to fry.
Right.
So you mentioned the power hammers. Let's go back to forging. So
Yeah,
can you
I could show.
explain a power hammer to the listeners?
Um, I have two power hammers. One is mechanical, kind of works like a sewing machine. You step on a pedal, and the hammerhead on the little mechanical one is 25 pounds, so it raises it and drops it.
Hmm.
And the amount of pressure you put on the pedal, like the faster it goes, and the faster it goes, the harder it hits.
Okay.
Um, and the air hammer I have works exactly the same way, except it's
Hydraulic.
yeah, yeah, it's not hydraulic, but it's um, like an air gun,
Okay.
you know.
And
And
what's the purpose of the power hammer?
it does the hammering for you.
Mhm.
And it also, like, my big one has a 100-pound head, so I could take a piece of 3-inch like tool steel, and like that would take forever by hand with a striker.
Yeah.
Um, it saves you time. It saves you wear and tear on your body. It allows you to do angles that by myself that I couldn't do unless I had somebody striking for me, and I had like you got to introduce like top tools and bottom tools, and but historically they had power hammers. Like the mechanical ones have been around for probably like the late 1800s, and then before that, like like in Europe, like all the big forges like Mousehole Forge and Peter Wright, they had mechanical hammers that were basically a big oak log with an iron head, and then it would be run off a watermill, and the hammer would like kind of raise up on a trip like gear
Hmm.
and then drop. So you just had to like time it. And those, I think there was a lever to turn them on and then shut them off. But that was how they were able to forge like a 200-pound anvil. It wasn't all by hand.
So right next to the stove to the right
Yep.
of you, what is that circular contraption against the wall? It's got a hole in the center. It looks like a big donut.
Oh, that's in 1800s forge blower. So instead of like how you historically seen like the old bellows that are over the
Right.
with the leather and the wood, and you pull the thing, that's like a hand crank fan. Um,
Interesting.
that I don't use it. I did for a while, but it's I've got like an electric blower. But if you wanted to be like if you liked forging for the history and wanted to just kind of fall into the history of it, that's like one, it would be an option besides like the wooden bellows. But I've actually got an old wooden bellows in my house that somebody made into a coffee table, which is cool.
Oh.
But yeah, it actually works if you pick up the top part and it will blow it.
That's cool.
But yeah,
So, I would imagine playing with high intensity heat to forge metals, there's a massive safety factor involved.
yeah, you get
Y-
burned a lot in the beginning. Yeah, I mean, the cold forge will hit like welding heat like at 2600 really fast. Um, you can you could destroy metal really easily. My wife, when she first started, was like always incinerating metal. It was
Wow.
so funny. She was throwing like the pieces behind the forge that one day I found. I was like, what the heck is all this? Trying to hide them. But yeah, I really enjoyed the coal forge. I don't use it quite as much as I do used to use it. I rebuilt my gas forge, and I've been using that a lot lately. But the gas forge just runs off of propane. Um, they get really hot, not quite as hot as coal, but
Mhm.
they definitely do the job. They're better for doing multiples, like really production stuff. Um, then there's another forge that's like really popular right now. I can't think of the name of them. Induction forge, which is like it's like electrical coils, and you put the metal between the coils, and you have to make different coils to fit different things. But that will actually heat the metal right up to welding heat really fast, and it does like a localized heat,
Mhm.
which is nice. That's the thing with like the gas forge is put like you throw a bar in there and it will heat up 2 feet of the bar, whereas the coal forge is more of a local heat. So I feel
Mhm.
like it's both are good for different things.
Where I hunt in upstate New York, my hunting partner's nephew is the landowner. Uh,
Right.
Young guys in his early 50s. Well, he's got a forge in his outbuilding, and he makes flintlocks. So
Nice. That's awesome.
he manufactures a lot of his own parts.
That's awesome. Like I follow a couple guys that do that stuff. That's like really you're almost more of a jeweler
Yeah,
than you are, a blacksmith. That's like it's a very talented work to be able to do.
yeah. I mean, he's a master of all trades. I mean, he's a logger. He does construction. He manufactures flintlocks, and
Right.
just for his own love of the sport. Um, and it's beautiful work, and he's an artist on top of that. So even his artwork is exquisite.
Sounds
Um,
like it. Yeah.
yeah, because he'll design like a part, like the frizzen for the flintlock, and I look at this, and he's drawn it, and then he's roughed it out of a piece of like cheap metal
Right.
as a template, and then he'll start making it. It's just
Yeah.
pretty intense.
That's awesome. You'll have to if he's got like an Instagram or something, you have to send me his profile.
We just got him into Facebook.
Did you? So
Yeah, he now his buddies are all like, "Hey, what's your podcast? Hey, what's this? What's that?" I said, "You can find me on Facebook. Just get on Facebook."
right.
Everybody's afraid of it, like it's the devil. I said, "Well, it is the
Yeah,
devil. It's the devil
I've
if you
never
let it
been
be the
on.
devil." Yeah.
Right. I do need to get an account. I thought about putting one on like my iPad so it wasn't like on my phone, but
Right.
yeah, I didn't want to do the whole catching up with high school friends
No,
thing on
no, no.
Facebook.
And
Like
I
I
don't
like
even like.
Instagram's not
I
that.
still do it, but I don't
Right.
talk to anybody really. I just post shit and they send me messages. And I
Right.
tell people, just if you want to reach out to me, just send me a message or call me. You know,
Right.
like you and I do a lot of texting. So,
Yeah, you've been such a wealth of knowledge to me with all this stuff and buying these bows because um
well, you
I never
asked
had
me, and
anybody to
I got
yeah,
pictures. I've got DVDs, thousands and thousands of bows. So if I can't identify it, I know I can go through the archives and find
right,
that same bow and help you out with that.
right. Or sending me that bear medallion for that bow I found with like missing that one. That was awesome because I was able
Oh,
to
speaking of that, I got two bows
stick
and
it
I'm
on.
working on the bench right now that they're takedowns and they had those plastic buttons, the
Right.
medallion. Well, they're
Yep.
notorious. Usually you stick two razor blades under there and walk it up and out.
Yep.
Sometimes somebody in the factory was evil and put glue in that sucker.
All right.
So
Yep.
one will come out easy, the other one, the tip will snap. So
Oh yeah.
that's when
Yep.
I get the double-sided automotive body shop double-sided adhesive. It's a little thick, and I just cut it
Hmm.
out and stick it right on, and it's not coming off.
Right.
So,
Nice. Yeah, it's
so
cool to be able to find that stuff.
oh yeah, I mean, I bought a collection a couple of years ago, and it had a lot of accessories in there, like little micro screws, machine screws and stuff
Yep.
like that for the takedowns. So if I get a takedown that's broken, I probably have the parts to rebuild it.
Right. How like a lot of the bows I see, well not a lot, but some have the old like pin sights on them. Like how popular was that back in the day?
Oh my
Like did people
God.
really use the
Yeah,
sights?
they did. 60s and 70s, people were drill crazy. They
You're right.
two screws, drill them in. And
Yeah.
depending on the site, some of them got a little, like ugly because it
Right.
was like this giant appendage and two big
Right.
screws. I mean, big screws. Um, I get it more often than not, where I'll get a bow that has holes in it because of that.
Yeah.
So I've learned to cosmetically make them not disappear, but aesthetically, you know, make them
Right.
disappear.
Yeah, I've seen you do that like online. That's it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Um,
got to start doing more shorts on that stuff. Um, it's one of those things that I'm in the shop and I'm covered in sweat. Last thing I want to do is film myself.
right.
You know, today I might do something like that. I don't know. We'll see. My
Here's
wife's
a
work. She's working today, so I got a lot of stuff to do in the shop.
here's an old Savage Indian archery, but
Oh, nice zebra wood.
kind of cool. Like I
Yeah.
buy them just because they're so Savage, but I've
Is
got
that
it.
fiberglass butterscotch color?
Yeah, it's more of a brown.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you could call it butterscotch. I don't know why they didn't do like the extra tip there, the limb tips on those.
Nah,
Like,
they're pretty crude.
yeah,
Um,
they are very crude.
I have an Indian hanging up somewhere. It's my father-in-law's, my late father-in-law's. It's an old
Yeah,
Indian, and real square tips, no overlays. But
right,
we keep it for nostalgia. It's hanging up next to my late father's bow. Uh, those are the only things I keep around. I'm going to give to the kids if they want them.
right.
But when you're going hard and heavy in the forge, are you wearing one of those leather smocks?
I don't, no. Like when I did the Smithsonian thing, they asked me if I could wear an apron, and I had a friend that had like a really nice like handmade leather one that I wore. Um, it's probably a good idea. I always kind of wear like heavy work clothes and like
Yeah.
like these double wall like Carhartts.
Hmm.
Um, but now my wife will come out on flip flops and forage, and it's so funny.
Yeah, that sounds like something my wife would do. Um, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's going on project wise with you? Anything that you're working on
Project wise,
specific?
I just finished like a log rack thing for somebody, and now I've got like two fireplace sets to do.
Hmm.
Um, and I've got to do like I used to do retail kind of all over the country, but um, not in a ton of stores. But we had like 4 or 5 stores that I sold to in bulk, and now I've whittled it down to just selling it handmade in Vermont, which is
Hmm.
a guy down the road from me that has like a historic. It's actually a historic blacksmith shop.
Hmm.
But he turned it into a store that sells. They sell. His main thing is he sells Hubbard and Forge stuff, which is like a huge forge in Vermont. It's got hundreds of employees, but my daughter's boyfriend is actually the head blacksmith there. But they do lighting fixtures, like their chandeliers and stuff for like $10,000. It's
Wow.
so his business is in Wallingford is selling a lot of lighting, and he does a lot of handmade stuff, and he sells a lot of like local Vermont blacksmith stuff. So he's been like huge for me. Like I've done like some furniture and just given it to him, and I'm bad at pricing stuff, and he'll know where to price things. And he's like, they don't, people don't mind spending like $2,000 on your end table because they're already spending 10,000 on the chandelier,
Sure.
you know.
And
Um,
it's stuff that's going to go on for generations.
right. And so he's got a good business mind, and he's on a major road where a lot of the out-of-staters that are coming up to ski in Vermont, the people that have the money to buy that stuff, and a lot of people own second houses in Vermont around the ski area. So
Hmm. Oh yeah.
um,
Uh, yeah, skiing is
yeah,
big for sure up there.
yeah. I'll show you one of mine for the YouTube people. This is where I brought it out. These are one of the little axes I forged.
Oh
I call it
man, look.
like it's like I call it a boy's axe because it's got like the shorter handle, but um, yeah, they're cool. They're like 4140 tool steel. Um,
What's the purpose of the leather?
so if you miss like splitting wood,
Oh,
you
okay.
hit that and not you hit that and not the handle. But set it down. Yeah, they're cool. I've done a few of those, and I've sold a few axes. Not much, but it's
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Have you ever made any throwing axes? Because that's a
Yeah, oh,
big
yeah,
deal. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're fun. I made like I almost make like tomahawks and stuff for them
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
it.
like
That's what I meant to ask you.
yeah,
Tomahawks. Yeah.
because they slide on to the piece of wood, whereas those are like it's that wedged in.
Hmm.
So like the head, it kind of the handle and the head come apart. But with the tomahawks, it slides from the bottom up and on the piece of wood, so it doesn't, if it rattles out, you just bang it back.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that's a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, I've got a axe in my truck, but it's an East Wing, so I mean it is what it is. But I break that
Yeah,
thing out, and people are like, "What? What is that?"
that's a really cool company, and they used to have an Instagram for inside their shop, and they forge all their tools with an old Erie, New York drop hammer.
Mm,
So they're basically like roughly made to spec, and then they drop forge them. So like that like their tools are really forged. They make
that's
nice
good to
stuff.
know. So it was
Yeah,
expensive. It was not
yeah. I
cheap.
mean, yeah, I've got a couple of their hammers. My dad always had one as a kid, but it was cool when they were online because the kids that were in the factory were just filming like all the forging of the tools.
Hmm.
And then one of the higher ups, I think, in the company found it and closed it down. But it would have been great marketing for them.
Yeah. Well, that's. I think they probably took it down because they didn't ask for permission. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
so
No, they
that's
didn't.
giving away
Yeah,
trade secrets.
right.
Uh,
Yeah, that's probably what they thought too.
yeah. So, what's in store for you for the rest of the year? Are you ever going to get out to go hunting?
I don't know. Usually I take the bow for a walk once a year.
Hmm.
It's kind of tough because like my wife's family's land, um, it was sold off, and
Mm.
even I used to be able to get access to that land from like a cul-de-sac neighborhood type thing where you could pull over
Sure.
and you had access to the mountain. Um, and I can't do that anymore, so I'd have to go up to the other public land like right up the road, and that's really heavily hunted. Or I got to drive to where I hunt with my stepfather in Proctor, and
Mhm.
I know it's too far out of my way. But usually I go up the mountain. If I drive like 7/10 of a mile, I'm in like the Atkins State Forest, which is pretty big.
So
So
JesseSavageBlacksmith.com, is that still going up and going, the website?
yeah, it's I haven't done anything with it, but it's there if anybody wants to get in contact with me.
Okay. And you're
Yeah.
also on Instagram, correct?
Yeah, Instagram, Jesse Savage Blacksmith. There's like I got a TikTok that I kind of use. My Twitter I don't really use. I am on a couple sites, but I
Now,
think
you
they're
told me
private.
about a young lady that forges and makes her own knives.
Oh,
Uh,
in Vermont, yeah. I can't think of her name. Starts with a K.
Kara?
Um, Something like that.
I think I found her on Instagram, but she hasn't responded to my messages. So I'm trying to get her
Huh.
on, trying to get her on. I think she's become a bit of a YouTube sensation. Um,
Probably. Yeah.
yeah, she's not hard to look at. But
Right. Yeah.
makes some
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful cutlery.
Yeah. There's a bunch of women that do knives. There's like Chelsea Miller does like kitchenware knives. Like she's a
Mhm.
Vermont person. Kind of in between New York City and Vermont.
Yeah.
Um, I can't think of somebody else. There's another girl in Texas, Andrea. She does like glass and some knives. But he has a lot of the knife guys. They make some nice stuff. I have like
And they're not
quite a
cheap,
few
but you
close
get
friends.
quality.
Well,
You know.
that's the thing. Like with the axes, it's like these guys make a Damascus knife and can sell it for 1,500, and it's like I make an axe that I've got tons of time into, and it's like I can get 200 for it, and it's like if I could get 2,000 for it, it'd be worth it. But
Yeah, you're probably
um,
underpricing yourself. I mean, I bill out at the hourly rate if I really wanted to break it down. Remember
right,
when I first started refinishing bows, I broke it down. I was like, I'm not charging enough. I was making $9 an hour. I'm like, this is stupid, you know.
right,
So I've since changed that, of course, because people don't know. Well, now they do because I put it on video what it takes to work on stuff. You know, it just doesn't
yeah,
happen. You just don't go poof and it's done. Just like you're manufacturing your product. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
remanufacturing this old bow that's now beat to death.
yeah,
So well, excellent, excellent. So JesseSavageBlacksmith.com. You're on Instagram, Jesse Savage Blacksmith,
yep.
and Well, excellent. So what are your plans for the holidays? What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
My daughters, I've got four daughters, and one of them's in out Pittsburgh area with her boyfriend and his
Mhm.
family through Thanksgiving, and then she's coming home for Christmas, which is cool. And then one of my other daughters actually moved to Ireland for a
Mm.
year. She got a work visa, so but I think she's gonna travel around Europe this winter because it's cheaper to travel then. So
Have you ever been?
um, yeah, we go to Ireland kind of every other year.
Okay.
Um, um, we've been to like Scotland and France and that stuff. England, of course, a bunch of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, it's in my bucket. It's on my bucket list. I want to go
Yeah,
to visit Ireland, Scotland. I want to see Prague. I'm a big architecture nut, and
right.
Prague has the best architecture in Europe, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's cheap. Like we always go in like January, February because it's cheap
Mhm.
airfare.
Yeah.
And in Ireland, it's like it's 50, 60 out still, so it's not like it's winter there.
Right. Right. Well, excellent. Well, Jesse, we're here at an hour. I'm trying to keep these podcasts to an hour, hour and a half. I did a couple that were three, and I got a lot of
Yeah,
complaint. I got a lot of complaints
I
from the older guys.
I don't mind the longer ones. They're cool too. But I mean, I
Well, you
could
can just
see
put them
that.
on in the background. You don't need to see anything. Just listen.
Right. Yeah.
So it's good. All good. Well, I want to wish you and your family the best for the holidays. And I want to thank you
Yeah.
for coming back on. Yeah, and thank you for the continued support. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Like I appreciate being asked again to come back on, and I always love listening to your podcasts and when you get on like the really geeky bow guys that do deep dives into this stuff. It's
Yeah, I
cool.
got a couple, and I'm actually booked all the way out through January now, so this is a good thing. But like I said,
Yeah.
I'm banking this. This won't air for about 2 weeks,
Okay.
and yeah, I'll be in the mountains chasing deer
Yeah,
at
that's
that time.
awesome.
So,
Yeah,
well, thank
thank
you
God
again.
for that bigger archery book that
Yeah.
came out. I mean, that was amazing
Oh, the
to
coffee
find.
table book.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it weighs 50 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool book.
Yeah, so,
But
so much good stuff in there. Good information. Um,
yeah.
But hey, folks, on behalf of the Drop Time Traditions podcast, you can find me, droptimetraditions.com, Drop Time Traditions dash Rich Lopez on Facebook or just Rich Lopez, Drop Time Traditions on Instagram. I'm not hard to find. So, folks, you all have a great holiday. Jesse, you have a great holiday. And thanks again, brother. We'll talk
Thank
soon,
you. I
okay?
appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, text me your address.
Oh yeah, I will.
All
Thank
right,
you.
brother. All right, man. Take care. Bye
All
bye.
right. Yeah, bye.